Welcome. Hey Ciara, I see you. Welcome to the room. How's everyone doing? Gonna get started in just a few minutes. I don't know where everyone else is located, but here in Pennsylvania, it is freezing. We've been in the 40s all week, so I guess I've kind of gotten accustomed to it, but I just don't want it to get any colder than this. So you can send this live to a friend who will hopefully tell another friend, because I think this is going to be a really amazing interview and we definitely don't want anyone to miss it live. Oh, yeah, so you feel me too, Ciara. I know, it is freezing. And of course, it's December tomorrow, but still, I do not like the cold. This year went by super fast though. I feel like it was just New Year's Eve of 2020. It's crazy how time flies. Welcome to everyone who's coming in. We're gonna get started soon. And just talking about how cold it is. I don't want to say the S word, but whatever comes after rain, I don't want that. I do not want that, because we had a lot of that last year, and spending the mornings digging your car out is no fun. Yeah, time does fly, especially when you're busy, especially doing what you love to do, you don't even notice it go by. All right, so I think we're gonna get started. So welcome to everyone. This is Testimony Tuesdays. If this is your first time in this live stream, welcome. I'm your host, DoctorBeauty, and I've been doing this interview series since September of 2020. So for me, I just wanted to interview people of all different professional backgrounds, whether it comes to the healthcare field like myself, or the arts, fashion, culinary world, what have you. I've had probably a representative of all of those professional backgrounds and more on this show. And we just kind of talk about their journeys and what's led them to where they're at today. And it's just really amazing learning about other people. So it's also a great way to network. I've had people who have been on the show see someone who's in their field or in a field they're trying to get into, and they're able to grow from that. So this is really a great way to build community. So our guest for tonight is Miss Ciara Howard. I'm going to read her introduction and then I'm going to let her into the room. Ciara is a 17-year-old artist from Toronto, Ontario, who has been singing as long as she can remember. Ciara was regularly involved in her school's choir and band, and after a brief pause in her choir membership, she realized that she could not live without music. Dedicated to perfecting her craft, Ciara did more research and started finding ways to enhance her musical repertoire and home equipment. She invested in a digital audio workstation, also known as a DAW, and started producing on her own. Ciara has always had a passion for writing music. She's a member of an esteemed organization which hosts bootcamps and helps students connect with a variety of artists. Students can collaborate with these artists and create amazing art. Furthermore, they are given the opportunity to practice, make mistakes, and get criticism to help improve their craft. Ciara is working on collaborations that will be out sometime next year. So without further ado, please put your clapping emojis in the comments for Ciara as she comes into the room.
Hi.
Hey, Ciara. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's good to finally meet face to
It
face.
is good to finally meet. I've actually never spoken to you before. That's right?
Right, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody in the comments.
We've been following each other on Instagram for some time, but
Yes.
I was like, you know what? I think Ciara would be perfect for this series because I see what you're doing, and we need more people like you who are really honing in on their talents in this world. So props to you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is my first interview, so this is really cool.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm honored to be the first person to interview you.
Thank you.
Yes. So I usually like to start off Testimony Tuesdays with a little icebreaker.
Okay.
So if you could choose one decade to recreate in terms of your production, what would it be and why?
What decade to recreate? Probably the 90s. Because right now I'm a little obsessed with the 90s, just a little bit, mainly because of Brandy. But yeah, like the production in that era and the music, the way it was, the way they approached like their songwriting, the way they approached the production, and then on top of that, like the performing and all of the choreography they would put together, it was like insane back then. And yeah, I kind of prefer it a little bit more than now.
Yeah. As a 90s baby, I have to be a little bit biased and choose that decade too, because it was no matter what genre you looked at, there was so much greatness going on, especially with R&B.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
Awesome. Well, and a lot of people too are kind of doing throwbacks to that sound. And so people who haven't heard about that from, maybe your generation and younger that don't know much about R&B from the 90s are like, "Ooh, what is this sound?"
Yeah.
And they're learning about like Destiny's Child for the first time and, all those groups.
There's a lot of people like in my generation that honestly, they don't really know about 90s R&B like that. They don't know about 90s music like that in general. And I happen to be one of those people for a little bit, just like a tad bit of time. But I did my research and I caught myself up, make sure that I knew my stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can say the same about, previous decades that came out before I was born, because like you said, you have to do your research. It's not always in the mainstream unless you listen to the oldie stations. So
that's true.
Yeah. But that's amazing to see that you're so well versed with that decade and probably decades before that too. Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get involved with music?
Oh, okay. Honestly, music it's been in my life my entire life. I don't remember a time where there wasn't music in my life. I come from like a culture that is really like it appreciates and loves music very much. I'm West African, so there's Afrobeat and then African gospel music, and so it's like it's heavily rooted in that and also heavily rooted in like Christianity and stuff. And so as a kid, like we go to family functions and they'd be playing R&B or not R&B, sorry, Afrobeat Afrobeat, R&B, and the gospel and all that. It's like mixed together,
Yeah.
But they would be playing that, and then you go to church, and then there's the gospel, African gospel, and then I'd have school, and at school they really push the arts at school, the school I went to specifically, there's not a lot of schools that honestly prioritize arts the way that my school did, but for some reason they would like let us perform at concerts for the holidays like Easter, Christmas, and because it was a Catholic school, like Lent during that time we would like sing songs during church. That because it was a Catholic school, they called it mass. So yeah, there's that.
You know, that's amazing because growing up, the arts were threatened at a lot of public schools.
Yeah.
And so I can even imagine how it would be at a Catholic school where the budget could be even tighter with what extracurriculars are allowed for students. And one thing that the research has shown is the arts are so necessary and actually help students do better in school.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it just works a different part of the brain. It gives you something to do after school, keep you out of trouble. So, I mean, that's really amazing that your school was really behind you in getting involved with the arts.
Yeah, they like push it on the kids a lot. Like, you start like from kindergarten all the way to like grade 8. You have the option not to, but they really like suggested and insisted that like you should participate. It's gonna be fun. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have fun. It'll be like you don't have to do homework. They will like emphasize you don't have to do homework. You just like for a whole week you just practice doing dancing or what's it called? Just practice like the songs that we're gonna perform in front of the school for the holidays and stuff. And the kids would be excited about the fact that they didn't have to do homework. And after that, like through school, I guess, then it kind of like through my friends, then we would talk about the different music we would listen to and we'd compare. It's like, oh, you listen to this person, I listen to this person. You listen to this, I listen to this. And so I started to get into more different artists, and I went through a couple of different phases. But yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting to note because it's not just a steady line of your love for music. You start experiencing different genres as you talk to your friends. And I remember too going through like the punk rock phase and then going into alternative and come back to R&B and just straight hip hop. So, you know, it's nice to have an appreciation for all of those.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I got into my R&B phase a little bit later than everybody though. And it took me to like high school, I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, you talked about doing choir as well as band.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about how you got involved with those and, you know, what voice part are you in choir? Because I'm also a fellow choir student from middle school throughout high school.
See, okay, so with my choir, the choir at the school I went to, it wasn't because, like you said, that the arts, it was like being threatened at a lot of schools. So there weren't like a lot of like super good teachers where they would like teach you like they would teach you the basics. We learned mainly music theory, but in terms of notes. And so when it came to choir, it was mixed and integrated with the music class that they gave us like while we were in school. And for a while I didn't know what like the altos and the baritones and sopranos and mezzo sopranos and all that. I didn't know all of that until I did my own research on my own, and I was like, oh, this is what's going on here. I didn't know that this is what we're doing. Nobody told me. Maybe they did, and I wasn't there because I missed school a lot too. So for choir, I started in the second grade because they don't allow first graders. They started in the second grade. I started in second grade and stopped in the sixth grade because they only allow from second grade to sixth grade. And I did that for a bit, and I found out I am an alto. Okay. One of the altos. Somewhere in the alto area. That's all I know so far. But I did that from second grade to sixth grade, and then from sixth grade till 10th grade because of quarantine I had stopped. But I did band, and that kind of like skyrocketed my love for music a little bit more because then I got to learn more about music than I did with choir and stuff.
So what instrument did you play in band?
Oh, in band I played baritone and trombone.
Awesome. And did you have to learn how to, you know, read musically differently there with band? Because I know with choir you may not need to know necessarily, but for instrumental is a little bit different.
Yeah, but it was a little bit different. A little bit with choir. They started teaching us how to read notes at a young age, so the transition from choir to band was a lot easier than I guess it would have been for other people. But for when we switched to band, they had already taught us like the basics of the treble clef and bass clef and all that, and how to read the notes. Every good boy deserves fudge and FACE and all that. So basic music theory. And by the time I got to band, I had to learn how to play trombone. They let me in a year early. It's supposed to be from the 7th grade and up. And so I got in the 6th grade, and when I got in, there was like this guy sitting next to me. I had to like look at him and learn and see what he was doing and copy him. And I kind of learned off of that. And I would go home and practice on my own, and I'd come back and they would like see I'm getting better, so they let me stay in the band and stuff. And we would go and perform at malls and sometimes like music music conventions. Yeah, we were supposed to go to Wonderland one time. It's a theme park in Canada, but we never ended up going. I'm not entirely sure why. I can't remember, but yeah.
That's amazing that you were let in a year early.
Yeah. I honestly, I think I was let in a year early. I don't think it was because of skill, but I think I asked the teacher, and he was like, you know what, yeah, sure, you can sit in. And he seen like I was really dedicated to learning, so he let me stay in and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think one thing those teachers like to see is that dedication to learning, because as long as you're willing to learn and they're there to teach you and they see that passion, it inspires them to do what they do every day too.
It does.
Yeah. And you mentioned too that you started teaching yourself how to use a digital audio workstation, a DAW. Mm-hmm. So, how did you come across learning how to use this system, and what was the first one that you started out with?
I watch a lot of YouTube, and so one day I seen this YouTube video, and it was talking about how there's this Canadian producer. He produces on his own, and he said he was self-taught and everything. His name is Simon Servita. But I was watching him, he was producing, and I realized like I could do that too. I was like, how? And then he was like, you just have to download FL Studio, and once you download it, then you just start playing around with it, and eventually you get the hang of it. And there's also YouTube videos that you can watch. And me being like a YouTuber myself, I already knew that on YouTube there's lots of tutorials available. And now that with YouTube being more popular than it was before, like in 2015, like you could go on YouTube now and find a whole bunch of tutorials on honestly anything. So I went on there, and I watched a lot of tutorials for a while because I didn't really have the means to go get a DAW right away. So like for a whole year, I was just watching tutorials and watching. And when I was finally able to get the DAW, I started producing, and I didn't really know what I was doing at first. Honestly, it was very confusing. But as weird as it's gonna sound, like God would talk to me. He would be like, okay, this is the song I want you to like produce. This is what it sounds like. This is the whole thing, like fully mixed and everything. You just gotta bring it to that now. And I would like talk to him. I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how you expect me to do that. Because also I'm not a piano player, and using a DAW, there's the keyboard, and you have to place all the keys, and it's like I don't really know the keys like that. He's like, you gotta learn. I'm like, how? And he's like, you just gotta learn. And so I kept doing it over and over again until I got it right. I would sit there for like 4 or 5 hours just trying to perfect it and make sure the timing is all good, and make sure I'm able to get everything that I'm hearing in my head out so that it's right and it's not wrong, I guess. Yeah. But I think honestly, I think it's the artist thing. Like artists, they hear the gift of God in their head.
Yeah.
I think that with them hearing that, they're able to bring a lot of life to certain art. They're able to bring it to life and deliver and heal and help others. And I think that's what God is trying to do through me, to be honest. But it took me a while to really understand that. It took me until like February of this year. Yeah, February of this year. I was very frustrated at first when like learning, because it's like I'm hearing this fully like orchestrated song in my head. I don't really know how to play piano. Not only that, I'm new to this digital audio workstation. I had no idea what this is. I had no idea this existed before like a couple of days ago, and now all of a sudden I'm sitting in front of a piano and I'm supposed to make a song. I don't know how that's gonna work. And so for a couple months, it was very frustrating, sitting there trying to create a song. Sometimes I would get it. Sometimes it was like I don't know if I can really do this. And then over time, I got better. I got better a lot faster than I thought I would. I thought it would take like a year to get like at least decent, but I got there pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure that's because of God's help, though. So yeah.
That is amazing. I mean, being able to get that inspiration, and like you said, it's a spiritual experience because you have this song that you are hearing and you're trying to get that out with that DAW that this is your first time using, and with God's help you were able to actually get that out and make it make sense to other people who are listening too. Because when I heard your stuff, I'm like, oh, she's probably been doing this for years. No. And then you told me how old you are, and I'm like, wow, that's dedication. That is real dedication for you to get that in the short amount of time that you did. So kudos to you.
And I started producing, I think it was, February of this year, basically, around that time. Like, using the digital audio workstation. Before, I wasn't really using anything. I would play around with GarageBand a little bit, but at the same time, I still didn't know how to use it like that. But, yeah, over time, I kind of got the hang of it.
That's amazing. And so I've heard you do some a cappella covers.
Yes,
or even like originals, too.
Yeah. I've done those. It's taking me some time to progress with those because of the equipment that I have. At first it's a learning process right now. I was gonna say it was, but it's a learning process right now. When I first started, I didn't necessarily understand how to like do the playback where you can hear yourself as you sing at the same time. So I would have to like sing it and then play it back. It's like, is this right? Is this the right note? No, it's not. No, it's not. So I would like do it like the same sentence like 100 times over and over again. I'd be sitting like, I record in a car, like my mom's car. And so I would be sitting there for hours just like trying to get it over and over and over again, and it's not getting, and I'm like getting frustrated, and it's like, why is that not working? And then one day I was playing around on it, and then I realized that you just have to press the monitor and turn it on. And I was like, oh, okay, this is great. It took me like a good 3 months to realize that. So it was like a good 3 months of struggling and just listening back to that and using that as the feedback instead of just having to listen to the feedback like directly.
Right.
And so after I figured out how to do the monitor, then I started to improve a lot more because then I could hear myself like while I'm doing it. It's like, okay, this note is not right. This is clashing with the instrumental. I'm going a little bit off key, so we need to fix it and go like a little bit more on key. And it helped a lot with harmonization practice too, because right now with the pandemic, we didn't really have access to choirs or like being able to do backup singing for anybody or being able to be around anybody without the vaccine now. So it's like I could be my own personal choir now, on GarageBand. So there's that. Does that answer the question?
Yes, perfectly. And I want to commend you for getting past that moment of frustration that you had, because oftentimes when we're learning something new and it's not just coming right away, sometimes we can give up and be like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, let me just switch to something else. But you kept going with that.
There's a lot of thoughts of that. Like I had a lot of thoughts of that, especially when before I found Brandy, like with finding her, she helped me like get my thoughts right and like, stay motivated to keep going and just keep pressing on, because before her I was on the verge of I was about to give up completely because I was like pursuing music but not really fully like the way at full throttle the way I am right now. But then I found her, and then she would say a lot of things like don't give up or keep going, and that anything is possible, and if you believe in your heart and your mind and your soul, you can do it. You just got to keep going, keep working hard and stuff. And one time she said to me that like you need to go into your dreams believing that they're already true, work on your craft, and then God will do the rest. And that has kept me going for a real long time. That was like, like a little gas in the tank. Now I'm going. I'm really going. It was a lot of motivation when she said that and stuff. And it helped me, like she helped me improve a lot singing wise. If that makes sense. Yeah. Because her vocals are for one, insane.
Yes.
Her harmonies are
Immaculate.
insane.
Yes.
And the producers she works with are insane as well. So I would try to mimic what like they've already created with like, so for Brandy was singing and then the producers, I'll try to mimic what they produce and stuff. And that helped me improve. It helped me improve a lot because I understood what was going on and it helped me hear everything that was going on in the song. And so now I can listen to a song and hear everything that's going on without having to go break it down on the side. And
yeah. We're gonna get to how you got introduced to Brandy and everything in a second. But one thing I wanted to say is, what you said about being able to hear those individual elements of the song. I think once you start working with a digital audio workstation, you have so much of an appreciation for it because you're literally putting all the pieces together from scratch. And then you're like, oh, wow, how many vocal layers? There's like 10, 15 vocal layers. Then you have the instrumental.
Yeah.
Then you have the EQ balancing, and I mean there's so much that goes into just one song. So
much.
Then I started feeling like, once I started working with that too, I'm like, I'm not going to judge an artist for how long it takes them to come out with music because it takes a lot, and that's not even including the legal aspect of not having anyone steal your material.
Yeah.
So yeah,
once I found that out, I was like, I don't know how y'all do it so fast. This is like 1 year, a year after year after year, album after album. It's like, how is your voice still there? And how do y'all have the energy to keep going? This is wow. That's some dedication right there. Dina says studying helps you get better. Yes, it does. Helps you get a lot better.
Yeah, and like Rather Be Brandy said, when you study the greats, it helps you. But not only that, having them give you that positive feedback is so important too because it keeps the cycle going. And I love how there's people, especially I think Brandy is one of the main ones who is welcoming to the next generation of artists.
Yeah.
Because we need that, and we need that support. And they did it before YouTube and before everything that makes things easier for us. So they know from the ground up how everything works.
They do. They know how the engineering works and how the mixing, like with engineering works, and the CDs and printing out albums and just promoting it physically and not through streaming. It's a lot. They did a lot. It's a lot easier now, I think.
Oh yeah.
Than before.
Yeah.
You don't have to travel everywhere.
Exactly. You don't have to travel. And on top of that, like you said, streaming, you don't have to sell those physical copies.
Yeah.
People can just download it with a click. It's a lot harder. Yeah, for sure.
And you don't have to put the money into like creating the CDs to then sell it and then hoping that they sell so that you can receive the money back to pay them back and all, but it's a whole lot.
Exactly. Yeah. The landscape has definitely changed so much. And I would love to pick those artists' brain to talk about, like the ones who were in both generations, pre and post this digital age, because I'm sure they have so much insight to share with us. But you also participated in the Writing Sessions America organization. So could you tell us a little bit about what that entails, and is that how you were able to meet artists like Brandy?
Okay, so with Writing Sessions America, no. But the way I found Writing Sessions America was through Brandy's mom, Miss Sonia Norwood, and it was through one of her business clubs, The Business. Right now they're kind of on vacation, but it's on Clubhouse, and I was in the room one time, and the CEO of Writing Sessions America, he DM'd me. He was like, they have like an opening for their organization. If I would like to join, I could join. This is like the link to sign up and everything. And so it was actually very random. I'm not gonna lie, it was very random. I was just sitting there listening to the tips and stuff inside the room, and then he DM'd me, and I signed up. And from there, then I did a boot camp, and in that boot camp, I got to meet a whole bunch of different artists I've never heard of before, and a whole bunch of great people, great producers, great songwriters, and I got to learn a whole bunch about like the music industry and their like those artists' experience in the music industry and with other artists and experience and stuff. And we got to write a couple of songs in the boot camp. Well, actually one, but yeah, we got to write some songs. We're gonna have another boot camp soon, so there's gonna be more songs too. And there's also with writing sessions in America is not only boot camps. There's also like conferences, and in the conferences they invite really important people that come and they listen to the original songs that we make in the boot camps. And so if the original song you make in the boot camp makes it in the top 15, then when the conference time comes, then everybody that comes to the conference gets to listen to it. You get to have people like there's this producer that he works on Queens. His name is Matthew Head, and he came in and listened to one of our original songs, and I'm not sure if we're gonna release it yet, but I think we are. I'm not sure. I wrote it with 4 other songwriters and 1 producer, but he's also a songwriter too, so he's included in the 4. But there was Matthew Head and another guy, Ernie Singleton. He's a CEO, and they came in and they listened in on the songs that we created, and my song made it in the top 15, which I'm really happy about. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a really great opportunity. And is that focused more on high school age students or just any age?
Any age. I'm the youngest one there. It seems to be a pattern now. I'm the youngest one in a lot of these things. Every time I would join and I'd meet new people, they'll ask me my age. I'm like, when I first joined, I was 16. It was like before my birthday, and so they're like, "You're 16? What? You're a baby?" And it's like, "Yeah, thank you. Doesn't feel like it, but thanks." They're like, "Yeah, you have a long way to go." I was like, "Oh, really?" They're like, "Yeah, you have a long way to go. You're gonna experience a lot." Da, da, da. They're like, "It's good you're starting early," and they were like, "I'm really good for my age, and that I should keep going and never give up, and that I'm really talented and stuff like that." But age seems to be the main theme that people talk about when they first talk to me in WSA, because there's new members always joining too.
Right. Yeah, no, age is always going to be a discussion when it comes to talent. But like they said, don't let that discourage you. And there's no defined point in your skill that you need to be at depending on your age. You can be way advanced and still be your age. You don't have to be in your 20s, 30s, 40s to be at a certain skill level. You could be a prodigy, and
there are 5-year-olds better than me. So
you can be a prodigy, and you just, things just come quickly to you, and you just have to run with that and set your own pace. Because if you listen to people telling you this is where you're supposed to be, but you're already over here, you just got to go with what
go with your intuition.
And your intuition, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing the songs here, and God has given them to you, and it's just a natural gift that you have. So you got to keep honing that in.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. And so you had already known Miss Sonia then before getting involved with this organization.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Miss Sonia?
I was looking more into Brandy and stuff, and I was like, I wanted to see who her parents was. So I went on Instagram one day, and I went on Google, and then I searched up her parents. So I was like, oh, that's her mom's Instagram. So I searched up her mom's Instagram, I followed her, and I looked at her most recent post, and then it's like said that on Clubhouse that she's having like these rooms and stuff, and I didn't understand what Clubhouse was at the time. And so I went to go sign up for Clubhouse, and Clubhouse, because it's a discussion type app where you get to freely state your opinion and stuff like that to other people all around the world, is invite based, but not as invite based as it was before. Before it was like a little bit more private, and now that more people know about it, like it's still invite based, but like it's easier to get invited now. So I signed up, and instead I had to wait to get invited, and one day I got randomly invited by a contact on my phone that I honestly don't really know, but I got invited by them, and I went into the room and I just started listening. I was just sitting there and I would listen, and she would talk about the business and the bad parts of the business and what she's experienced in the business. She would she'll tell stories that she really hasn't told to many people before. She would talk about her experiences with different people in the business, and how some people in the business, it's just like they don't really have good intentions. And also, you can't be emotional when it comes to business. If you add emotion to the business, you're gonna screw up big time.
Right.
And yeah, so I'll go into those rooms and I'll listen, and that's on. Like, she would then read, like, later on as time went on, because she started in March, so like somewhere in June, July-ish, she started letting people come up to ask questions, and yeah, I went to go ask a question. I got to talk to her, which was really nice, and Delight, which is another producer in the room too.
That's awesome. And taking that initiative to ask those questions and not being shy about that was probably one of the main things that opened that door for you. And I think that's a huge lesson for anyone who's trying to get some more information about a field that they're trying to get into.
Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. Yeah, but after some time, I got used to it. It's still nerve-wracking to the day, a little bit, but it was, yeah. At first, it was like to-dum, 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 and over time, it kind of reduced. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And you talked about some of the producers and writers that you encountered through WSA. Are there any particular producers, writers, or artists that have inspired you the most so far?
Yeah, there's two right now specifically: December Moon and Demario. Demario is one of the producers and songwriters I worked with on the song that we might possibly release. The song is called "Can't Sit Down." I forgot to say that, but it's called "Can't Sit Down." He's lead singing on it, and I'm doing backgrounds on the song, and everybody else is just writers and songwriters. And Demario, he's a really great producer. He's a really great producer and songwriter too. Also a great singer. So when we were working on the song, I got to see like his songwriting process and his working process. I got to understand how his brain works when it comes to music, and it was really cool to see and stuff. And he has a really nice music setup that I kind of want to get now. Mm-hmm. So there's that. And December Moon, he's a bigger producer. He's working with a lot of artists right now. Not a lot of artists that I know. So he said he listed a lot of artist names that I don't really know, but I started to look into them, and they're really great artists. They can sing. They can all sing. They can rap. They got bars. They're kind of like more low key, because a lot of them, they do more songwriting than they do. They're like putting out music and promoting that music that they do put out. And so with December Moon, he started out like how I'm starting out right now, and it's very. When he told his story about how he started out, it was very inspiring, because it's like, okay, this is gonna be me in a couple years.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're seeing their process and the equipment that they have, and it kind of knocks off a few steps for you, what you have to do, because you probably needed to figure it out from scratch, but at least you have an idea of what tools you'll need to get where you're going.
Yeah.
And what genre do you think you're going to be focusing on the most, or are you going to be open to doing any genre?
I'm going to be open to doing any genre, mainly because I don't want to like close myself off to one specific genre, but I feel like I'm going to go through phases of where I kind of hyper focus on one genre. Right now, I think I'm in my R&B genre bag. Like, I think I'm in my R&B bag right now, and I think maybe later on I'll focus more on Afrobeat. When I first started, I was super focused on Afrobeat because that's all I grew up listening to. So when I'll do percussion, it was super like Afrobeat, like the dun 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 dun. Like, yeah, I was trying to get away from that, and I couldn't. So I was like, you know what? Let me just feel it out, like let it out of my body, and then when it's time to move on, I'll move on. And so I was just going with the flow, and I'm continuing to go with the flow, and the flow seems to look like just hyper focusing on whatever genre I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like R&B right now, but I think it'll mainly be R&B for the rest of my musical career, but I will like hyper focus into different genres and then do like Afrobeat R&B or Afrobeat by itself, like entirely Afrobeat pop or country maybe, or just pop. There's like a lot of genres I could go into that I would want to go into. And EDM, I want to do EDM. I want to I want to produce like dance records and produce songs for video games. That would be really cool. That'd be dope. Because I love video games.
That's awesome. You know, when you mentioned Afrobeats, because I'm also, I'm Nigerian by descent, and
Okay.
Afrobeat is life. But the first thing that you mentioned with that fast tempo percussion reminds me of the Afrobeat from like 20, I would say 11 through 15.
Yeah.
Because now it's slowed down so much, but it's still chill. But it's like,
Yeah.
I do miss.
It's more R&B rooted a little bit.
Yeah.
It's meshing right now. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell it's like they're meshing together a little bit. A lot
Yeah.
of the Afrobeat artists are doing R&B, and all of the R&B artists are doing Afrobeat. I was like, what is going on? I've never seen this before. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing that merge, and it's like a new wave of Afro beats. But I like the up tempo one too. It's great for workouts.
It is.
Yeah. And so we talked about Brandy a little bit, and her style, because you can tell that she has a lot of say in the production with the harmonies and everything.
Yeah.
So when it comes to artists like Brandy, what inspires you the most as a producer and as a vocalist?
Oh man. I don't know if I can say what inspired me the most, because I think it's all of it. Like it's not one specific thing. It's like little tiny things. It's like, and nuances. It's like, if those nuances weren't there, I'd be like, this is good, but the nuances are there, and with the nuances, it like brings my attention to it. Like, whoa, that was cool. That was really cool what you just did. I don't know how you did that, but I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna do it. When I do it, it's gonna feel real cool. And so with, I guess, vocal production, the harmonies. That's something, I don't know. I feel like I was gifted with the ability to do harmonies because I never learned how to do harmonies in choir. I think maybe in band I learned a little bit of harmony, but it's with band everything is so loud that you can't really hear what is going on. You can only hear what you're doing, and as you're looking at the conductor and praying to God that you don't mess up, because if you mess up, everybody's gonna hear it. So maybe I learned a little bit of it from that, but after that or during that, I didn't really understand what harmonies were. Like, people would do harmonies. I'm like, yeah, when you like sing those two notes and they sound really good together, but they're not the same note. And so harmonies, I think, once I started getting into music, I realized I was gifted with the ability to do harmonies. They're like really easy for me to do, like because I hear it in my head and then I just do it. I don't really know what note I'm singing, but it works out because it sounds good. Production wise, it's kind of the same thing because I hear it like the note. It would be like a guitar, electric guitar, but a specific electric guitar with like a little bit of saturation to it, or a little bit of distortion to it, and or maybe like a little bit of reverb to it. With production, it's basically the same thing as vocal production, just I guess with instruments. And I guess you can say, but not I guess. The vocal cords are an instrument, just an instrument within the human body. And then with like production on a DAW is instruments on a computer. And I guess that's the difference.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel you on the harmonies, because it definitely takes a good ear to know what sounds good together, and instruments too, harmonizing. So, it's something that they don't directly tell you about in choir or band, but hearing all those parts around you kind of helps to
eventually
like how it works.
Yeah, eventually you get the hang of it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being in choir. I was a soprano, and I always wanted to be alto because I was like, they get all the cool parts. So now when I do the covers with Adala Sings, I can be alto if I want to, and I can be soprano. And that's something that I've seen in your work too, is that you can do all those different parts and blend them together really nicely.
Thank you. You can too.
Thank you.
With when I would do the harmonies, there are times where it wouldn't go well, and I think hitting the wrong notes is very important. Like learning how to hit the wrong. Learning to let yourself hit the wrong notes, because a lot of time I wouldn't let myself. I would be like, no, that's the wrong note. but it's like, why not just try it? Because then it could lead you to something else. Because sometimes like I hit the wrong note, but that wrong note ends up leading me to another note, which ends up leading me to a new chord. And the new chord is like, oh wait, this sounds better than what I was gonna do originally. I might want to keep this. This is new. This wasn't there before. It gives it a little bit of spice. So yeah, I would do that a lot. I still do it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into what you were saying with those nuances, and even that can take you to a whole nother genre like jazz or neo soul fusion, because there's a lot of that in there that's done intentionally.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension chords I learned, and I like tension chords. I like dark chords, like when they clash and just there's not really any resolution. It's like it leaves you, I guess, like the question mark kind of chords, and yeah, they sound really nice to me, and I use them a lot. When I start releasing music, you're gonna hear that I like prefer that a lot compared to, I guess, brighter chords and happier chords.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's cool that you can show your personality and what's really going on in your mind through your music and what choices you're going to be taking. I'm excited to hear that.
Thank you. I have to figure out how to mix, because I don't know. I might invest in getting somebody else to mix it for me, because mixing or learning to mix properly and professionally might take a little long time. So in order to like release music next year, that is like original, my own, and like me only, like solo, I might have to hire somebody to mix it for me, because mixing is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. There's no right way to do it, but there's a right way to do it in a way.
Definitely, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it never hurts to have a professional take a second look at it, because, like you said, with YouTube, people can pretty much do everything that they want to at home in the home studio. But then when you have someone just do that little, I don't know, some magic with it, and then it's ready for radio or wherever you want to play it.
Yeah, because they have like special speakers and headphones that they use, and it's like, I guess you're able to hear it properly, so that, like, let's say it goes to another stereo and they're playing it on the radio, it's proper, it's being played properly. There's nothing too far in the back, nothing not being heard that's in the song, but then you like go on your earphones, it's like, oh, this wasn't here when I listened to it on the radio, why is it here now, so that everybody could listen to it and hear all the same things.
Definitely. No, I totally agree with that. And you've accomplished so much so far with the organization that you're involved with and the music that you've created and harmonies and everything. And my next question is just, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in your professional journey?
The next 5 years, I see myself established. Like an established, not only like an artist, like an established entertainer. Because I don't want to just do music. I want to do entertainment in general. I realized that a lot of the things that I've wanted to do professionally is in entertainment. Because with sports, I wanted to do that professionally at some point. That's entertainment. Then it went to gaming. That's also entertainment. And then now it's music. That's also entertainment. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna just be a full-on entertainer. And in the next year, I'm gonna be meshing all of them together and trying to see what I can do, and being a content creator, and being an artist, and hopefully being an actress one day. Yeah.
That is amazing. And somebody that I think you really look up to, Brandy, does all of that. She does the acting, she does music, and I think she and so many people today are demonstrating that you don't have to just do one thing. You can do it all. As long as you put your mind to it, you can do it all. It may not be all at the same time, but you can definitely do it all as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah, from a young age, like with YouTube, when everybody started getting into like the vlog, like everybody started realizing you could vlog and upload it to YouTube and then make money from it. That was like the era where I realized like I wanted to do content creation. And I would watch YouTubers at the time. There was like KSI, there was Logan Paul, there was I would watch a lot of sports YouTubers too. They would skateboard, like Cody Flom, he was scooter, and yeah, Beaver Fleming, he was skateboard, and I would watch them, and then in game videos, I would watch FaZe Clan, and all these other gaming teams, and just I would watch them and want to be them. To be honest, it's like I want to be on the team. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get there. It's like the same. It's the same thing I'm doing now with music. It's just like a lot of practice, a lot of dedication, and hard work to get there. And like around that time, I was like 10, 11. I think I was 10, 11. Yeah, around that. I was around that age, and I realized I could do more than one thing. I don't have to stick to just one thing. It doesn't have to be, oh, you have to be a doctor, or you have to be a surgeon, or whatever school kind of like forces upon you in a way. Like you gotta go to school to do all these things, and it's like I want to do that. That doesn't require school, and I don't know how to get there, but I'm gonna get there one day. That was my plan. So I did a lot of research as a kid through YouTube. I would search up how to get more subscribers and all that. Just find all the tips I can get through YouTube. At the time, there wasn't much tutorials, so it was very hard. And I would take notes, and I remember just sitting there binge watching YouTube videos and trying to get as much information into my mind as I possibly could, so that I could do the right thing the right way.
Yeah. You know, one thing that you brought up that I think is really important is a lot of people are realizing that you can make a living from social media now.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case, I don't think, 10, 15 years ago. It's something that's relatively new, where all you need to do is just be yourself online and you'll get paid. As long as you have people watching, subscribing, you'll get paid. And that can be just a steady flow of income. Could be your main job or could be a side job, but it's something that, you know, now I think a lot of our foreign parents are saying, you know what, it's okay if you pursue that, because you're still going to make money. Because the one thing they were concerned about, why they said doctor, lawyer, engineer, is because everything that you can do now for a living to get money wasn't that profitable before. And they're like, how are you going to take care of yourself? Now, yeah, you can make a lot of money writing music for people, doing art, you know, these things that were pretty much frowned upon in the past. You can do it and make a very good living.
Yeah, you can. A lot of people were scared. Like with the entertainment industry, like the payment wasn't consistent. It was very inconsistent. Like being an actor, like is based on how much you book, and because with making movies and writing shows and all that, you want to get the right people. You're not always gonna hire everybody you see. There's always gonna be lots of people looking for work and being out of work, because with shows and movies they have a certain vision, and if you happen to not fit that vision, there's nothing they can do about it. You just have to move on and go find another gig and pray to God that you fit the vision that this writer is trying to bring to life and stuff.
That's true. And you know, another thing that you mentioned too is that image that they were looking for in the past. Now you can just take your camera at home and make your own short film.
Yeah.
And get picked up. Like I think of shows like Insecure that were just started as web series, and now they're winning Emmys and all different types of awards. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to that now.
Very much. Insecure. I want to start watching the show. I'm not sure if they have it available in Canada, but I want to watch it. And I've heard about the whole Insecure, like its growth and everything, and it's amazing to see, because it's like a lot of people. I know a lot of people at the beginning when Insecure first started, they didn't believe in it. They were like, "It's probably not gonna work. It's probably not gonna do well." And it did. It's doing great. It's doing amazing. And a lot of people, I feel like they're probably discouraged right now because they feel like their content isn't doing well. Because like with social media, it's a lot of pressure to upload content that you think is right or perfect, or that'll get you the most viewers or get you the most money, so you can keep doing what you're doing. But what a lot of people forget or don't realize is that you have to be yourself, and if you don't stay yourself, a lot of people will notice. Like the second you aren't yourself, they will notice, and they're gone. They're moved on to the next content creator or entertainer.
That's so true. And I think, like you mentioned, the pressures of social media make people question their talent because they're looking at how many views, how many likes. And I've heard so many people on YouTube who have quote unquote made it say that you just have to keep going until that one video goes viral, because there's so many people who are getting maybe 20, 30 views per video for like years, and then it just took one video ending up on some major platform, and then now, you know, everyone's going back to their old stuff and like, oh wow, you've been around for so long. Like, you just have to be consistent and just keep believing in yourself, because one day, as long as you keep going, it will work out.
Yeah, with YouTube especially, you need to be consistent. Inconsistency in YouTube, they don't mesh at all. There's a lot of people that are inconsistent with YouTube and expect to see results from their inconsistency, like big results, like, oh my gosh, I just posted the video, it's supposed to get 1 million views. It's like, but you haven't posted in a really long time. Who's there to watch that and give you those views, you know, unless you already have your community built and they're strong and they're there waiting for you, you know, to post a video, and you've taken a break that they're aware of, then yeah, in that case, that would be the case. But a lot of people expect that to be the case without a firm, strong community that they know will stick with them through the thick and the thin, and rock bottom and stuff.
That's so true. Yeah, building that community takes time, because I've seen some, you know, YouTubers, they'll take a hiatus for like a year or two, and like you said, their community is waiting there for them when they come back. But if you haven't even built that yet, it's kind of a risk to drop off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, one final question I have for you is, what advice would you give to other young musicians who aspire to accomplish their goals?
I would tell them the same thing that was told to me. That you need to go into your dreams believing that they're already true, that it's already there. It's only a matter of time until that happens. You know, it's already happened. You just need to work on your craft, and God will do the rest. If you don't do the work behind the scenes, you're not gonna get the results that you want. It's not gonna come. This faith without works is dead. You know. Brandy is like very, very she like emphasizes a lot that you should just never give up, and that you need to like do the work, you need to do the hard work behind the scenes, and you need to believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, anything is possible, you know. You also need to have your thoughts right. You can't think negatively about it. You can't think negatively about yourself. And once you do all that and you keep being consistent with all that, you should be fine. Everything will fall into place the way it's supposed to.
Perfect. That is excellent advice. I really commend you for having that knowledge and wisdom at this age, because a lot of people, it takes them a long time to figure that out. But believing in yourself is so important, and you know, you're so blessed to have so many mentors around you, and a lot of people may not have that. But regardless, you have to be your own cheerleader and tell yourself, I can do this. You know, just even if it's one task a day that you do towards your goals, as long as you're able to commit to that, you'll get to your final destination. So that's really awesome advice for everyone who's listening.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where can we listen to your music? I know you have your page where you post your harmonies and everything. Is there anywhere else that you would like to share where people can get connected with you?
Right now, just my YouTube, which is in my bio, and my TikTok, which is the same username as my Instagram. But as of right now, I don't really have any music out. I do have a song coming out in February that I made with a friend of mine named Anthony, and the song is called You Are, and it's coming out in February, hopefully on Valentine's Day. I'm not sure yet. It's not set in stone, but we're gonna see. And it's very different from the genre I'm used to. Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait to hear that. I hope it does come out as planned on Valentine's Day. And I really thank you for taking out the time to do this interview with me. I got a lot of gems from you, believe it or not, because you've already experienced so much with the WSA organization and your experience in Clubhouse and with Sonia and Brandy, and I'm sure that the future is going to be so bright for you.
Thank you.
You've already accomplished so much, and it's only up from here. So keep doing what you're doing, keep inspiring. You have a lot of supporters that were in and out of the room saying that you're dedicated, and they have nothing but great things to say about you. So just keep going and keep inspiring.
Thank you for wanting to talk to me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for talking to me. I mean, you are amazing. Keep going. And I'll definitely be on the lookout for your music when it comes out.
All right, thank you.
Yes. So, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Testimony Tuesdays. If you did not see it from the beginning, it will be here on IGTV and YouTube. Make sure you follow Ciara and stay updated with the music she's going to be putting out soon in the new year. And yeah, thanks again for joining, and thanks for this conversation.
Thank you so much. Have a good
All
day.
right. Yeah, you too. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.